love of John and Alex. I was married once, and in the short time my wife and I were married, we did celebrate a love for the ages. I once took quill to paper in an attempt to capture the intensity of our love in verse, and I'd like to share that with you at this time. It was many and many a year ago, a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, but we loved the love that was more than love. I am my Annabel Lee. With the love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in a kingdom by the sea. The angels not half so happy in heaven when envying her and me, and yes, this was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that a wind blew out of a cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the nights tired, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride. In her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Oh my, I feel as though I may have deadened the mood. I did not mean to do that. I'm not used to nights of such reverie. My life did not afford me many such opportunities. You see, I was born on January 19th, 1809, to David and Eliza Poe, two itinerant, struggling actors in Boston. They would both be dead before I reached the age of 3. I was taken in as ward by John Allan, a Scotsman, educated in London, taught to be a fine Southern gentleman in Richmond, Virginia. Mr. Allan was a very stern man. He gave me everything I needed except for his love, but when my penchant for intemperance and my fondness for gambling proved more than he could take, he would take everything from me. I would spend the majority of my life in abject penury. That is not to say I did not know some small joy. My life was tragic, save for the years I spent with my dearest Aunt Muddy and her daughter, my wife, Virginia. But as with all the women in my life, the dear Lord would take my Virginia home from me early. I watched for 3 long years as a consumption ravaged her body. I watched her wither like a bougainvillea plucked from the actual vine. And one night as I sat by her side, trying to comfort her sorrows, I told her a poem of life that I would like to share with you at this time. Lo, 'tis a gala night in the lonesome later years, an angel throng bewinged, bedight in veils, and dressed in tears, sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres, mimes in the form of God on high, mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly mere puppets they, who come and go at bidding of their formless things. They shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings, invisible woe. This motley drama, to be sure, it shall not be forgotten. Its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth into the self-same spot, and much of madness and more of sin and horror, the soul of the plot. But see amid the mimic rout, crawling, shaping true, the blood-red thing that rises throughout the scenic solitude. It rise with mortal pangs, the mimes become its food, and seraph solid, vermin fangs in human gore imbued. Out, the lights out all, and over each quavering form, the curtain of funeral pall comes down with a rush of a storm. And the angels all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that this play is the tragedy man, and its hero the conqueror, worm.
Woo!
Oh, again, I feel as though that was not as uplifting as I should have offered to you all. I was in my time an author of some small renown, though rarely did I have any more than the tattered clothes upon my back. But I did have one small critical success. Yes, I did. I published a poem on January 29, 1845 in the New York Evening Mirror that was well received. It's a story of a man on a dark and stormy night. Don't all the best ones start that way. And he is lamenting over a woman that he dearly loved Are you starting to see a theme to my work? When a bird seeking refuge from the storm comes rapping at his window. Now this bird, presumably an escape pet, for it does possess the parrot-like ability to mimic speech, which is not uncommon for the species Corvus corax. By and by, our subject begins asking this bird questions for which the very answer he does not want is the only answer the bird is capable of giving. If you indulge me a few more minutes of your time, dear listeners, I'd like to give you my greatest wealth, the raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, as I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, as I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, rapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for my lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken fair, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain filled me with fantastic tales never felt before. So then now was still the beating of my heart. I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door." Only this and nothing more. Presently my stroll grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping when so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering long, I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Back into my chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, this time louder than before. Surely said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see what that is, and this mystery explore. Let my soul be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven from the saintly days of yore. Not the least of beasts maybe, not an instant style or stately, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. Perched inside a bust, upon the bust of palace just above my chamber doors, perched inside and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling all my sad soul into smiling. By the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it bore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly. Those answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the pallid bust, spoke only this one word as if his soul in this one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless said I what it others is its only stock in store, caught from some unhappy master, for whom unmerciful disaster followed fast till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hopes that melancholy burden bore of nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door, and then into the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy under fancy, thinking with this ominous bird of yore, with this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, menting, croaking, nevermore. This I now engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl, whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er. She shall press, nevermore. Now methought the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy goddess lent thee. By these angels he has sent thee respite and nepenthe of thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind of nepenthe, and forget thy lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Prophet said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, where the tempter sent, where the tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet said, I think of evil, prophet still if bird or devil. By this heaven that bends above us, by this God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp the sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend that screamed up starting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of the lies thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness a broken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beat from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven never flitting, still is sitting on that pallid bust of palace just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of the demons that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Thank you.
Quoth the raven, nevermore. Edgar Allan Poe, we had a live, in-your-face fucking performance. Let me hear you put your hands together, please. That was amazing!